Hey YouTubers and chili heads. I thought I'd share another recipe with you that I've been working on to use up some of the powders that Paul sent me that are just killer. And what I came up with was some honey roasted nuts with a serious kick. So I finally got it figured out where it comes out just perfect every time. Took a few failures, but I got it. And I want to share it with you guys so you don't have to go buy them, you can just make them. Let's get to it. I got everything laid out here that you're going to need. It's really easy. It's a lot easier than the brittle. Anybody can do it. There's no intricate measuring or anything like that. It's real simple. As long as you measure everything accurately that I have here, it comes out perfect. So here's what you're going to need. You're going to need 2/3 of a cup of sugar, half of a stick of butter, 4 tablespoons. You're going to need 2 pounds of peanuts, which is about 6 cups. I use dry roasted, but you can use anything without a skin on it. You can use blanched, uncooked, you can use regular salted peanuts, doesn't matter. Seems like it clings a little better to the dry roasted, so that's why I use them. You're going to need salt, about, let me see here, looks like 2 teaspoons of salt. You're going to need a 1/4 cup of honey, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of chili powder, and last but not least, you're going to need some form of a hot powder. These are the ones Paul sent me. This is the last of the Trinidad. It's not quite going to be enough for what I'm doing, so to make them really hot, so I'm going to use some habanero powder with it, which I think will go really good with it. And you need about 2 teaspoons of powder, somewhere there about, depending upon how hot you like it. It's going to be pretty zippy. And that's all the ingredients you need. So, and you need to preheat your oven before you get all that going to 325. You're going to need a couple cookie sheets. I use one. You're going to need one with an edge on it. It can be a baking dish, doesn't matter. As long as it's the size of a cookie sheet, you need to spread them out pretty good. And you're going to need a big bowl for mixing before and after they come out of the oven. And the bottom cookie sheet down here is just for laying them out after you mix them into a nice dry pan where they can just cool. You could lay them on the counter for that matter. If you have a big counter, you could. They're not going to be blazing hot when you lay them out, so you could lay them out and just pick them up. They're not going to be wet and sticky. If it's right, they should all stay separated and be nice crystallized sugar all over them. And that's that. So let's get to it. I think first thing we're going to do is put the butter and the salt into the honey and get it boiling. So I'm going to mount this camera and I'll be right back with you. Okay, I'm back. Okay, first thing we're going to get the butter, 4 tablespoons, into a 1/4 cup of honey. I just cut it into pieces so it would melt a little faster. Basically, you're just going to stick this on high on the stove and let it rock and roll on high until all that butter is melted and it gets a little bubbly and caramely. You don't have to boil it very long. So let's get that rolling. Let that roll while I get the dry ingredients together. Oh, I almost forgot the salt. So you need a half a teaspoon of salt in there. Close enough. Okay, and while that's boiling, or starting to boil, I'm going to mix the sugar that goes on after they come out. After they come out of the oven. So you're going to have a 1/4 teaspoon, or a half a teaspoon, I'm sorry, of garlic powder. You're going to have a half a teaspoon of chili powder. Trying to make this video a little quicker. The last one was really long, so this one should be nice and quick. It's a lot easier recipe. And you're going to need 2 teaspoons of this powder, some sort of smoky, sweet powder, whether it's Trinidad's, habaneros, maybe red 7 pods, maybe even Douglas and stuff like that. Might be really good in here. I've never tried it, but it sounds like it would be good. What I'm going to do is put 1 teaspoon in here for afterwards. I'm going to put 1 teaspoon into the honey to cook into the honey. We'll put the habanero into the honey. Okay, that's that. I'm just going to whisk this together to get it mixed evenly, so I'll get a chunk of garlic on there somewhere. Okay, that's your finishing powder right there. Then we're going to go and check the stuff cooking over here. I don't think it's boiling yet, but it's pretty close. And as soon as that's done and start boiling, I'll come back and show you what it looks like and get it mixed up. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let's get the honey mixture and see what it looks like. Here's what it looks like. I hope you can see that. It's pretty foamy and bubbly. I basically let it boil on high, and as soon as it hit a boil, I went about 2 minutes and just stirred it a little. You can't really break it or separate it or anything. It's just like kind of like honey butterscotch now with the butter in it. It's got the chili in it, so be careful breathing around it. It's definitely got some fumes coming off it. You get that out of there. You're going to just dump it on the nuts. Get it all on there. Stir them up real good. It's going to get hard. As soon as it hits those nuts and cools off, like the brittle, it's going to harden up a little bit. Just get it pretty evenly coated. And most of your cooking is going to be done in the oven. So you don't really have to sit on the stove and watch it. Just set the timer and walk away for a little while. Get it in there, get it all even. Dump it in your pan and just spread it out and throw it in the oven. Get it pretty even. Throw it in the oven, 325. And in about 5 minutes, maybe 8 minutes, go back in and give it a stir with a spatula. I'll let you see what they look like in about 8 minutes. I'll come back. And you're basically just trying to stir it so they don't catch it on the corners. Just stir the corners in and keep it to the center and then spread it back out again, so that the corners are going to cook faster than the rest of the pan. And just you do that about 2 or 3 times over a 20 some minute period. And just so they don't burn, they brown evenly. And they're going to brown up really nice. And I'll come back, show you how to toss them and cool them, and that'll be that. Be back in a minute. Okay, I'm back. These nuts have been cooking for 15 minutes exactly at 325, and they're just starting to get nice and brown, but they just need to be stirred. So let me show you what they look like right now. See, they're kind of browning on the corners like I said they would, and you got to get those turned out of there. So let's get it out of there. It's getting nice and caramely in there. What you want to do is get all that mixed in to the peanuts themselves, all that back on there. And the real trick to this, why it took me a few tries and a few failures, is getting the right amount of liquid. It doesn't look like enough when you make it, but once it starts melting, as you can see, they're pretty wet. So what I was getting is too much liquid because of course I wasn't measuring right, and I was just kind of winging it like I do with most stuff I cook. And I should have measured, because now it's just right. What I was ending up with was closer to a brittle, and it was kind of irritating me because I already have brittle. I have tons of that stuff. I don't need more. I wanted beer nuts, nice sugary separated beer nuts, hot. So anyhow, I'm going to throw this back in. They're pretty brown, but I'm going to let them get a little more brown. Get that little nut back in there. It's hotter than hell. And we'll come back in about, I'll probably give them another 5 minutes and see how they look. I'll be back in a second. Okay, I'm back, and I let them go for another 5 minutes exactly, and they're ready to come out right now. So let's get them out of there. That's about what you want them to look like. Nice and golden brown. So stir them up one more time and then get them in the bowl. You gotta be careful of that smoke right there, because that is wicked with that chili powder in there. So let's try to get them in here. Without burning yourself, that's the trick. dump this sugar on here, and be careful because it is going to fume like you've never seen with this pepper in there. It's almost unbearable. Wow. Get a real nose full. Just keep layering it on there and shaking it. It helps them separate and break up. That's all of that. Wow, is that strong? You touch the bottom of the bowl like I did, Diggs. It's hotter than hell. So right now you're pretty much good to go. What you want to do is keep tossing these about every, come back in about 4 or 5 minutes. Let them sit here. Toss them a couple times. Make sure they're not clumping together. And then after about 2 or 3 shakes, you can get them onto the pan or get them onto your cupboard or counter or whatever. And they'll be good to go. Just let them cool. You can either do them right away or you can do it. I know these aren't going to stick, so I'm just going to lay them out. So I got plenty of sugar in there. Just spread these out a little bit so they don't clump too much. You should be good to go. That's it. And let them fully cool if you're in a hurry, of course, which I have never had patience to wait for this stuff to cool. It takes so damn long. Is you can slap them in the fridge for about maybe 8 to 10 minutes. Just don't let them get cold, because if they actually get cold to the touch, when you bring them out, they're going to cause condensation and they'll get sticky again, and you'll be right back in to the sticky nut thing that I'm trying to avoid. So if you want to cool them a little quicker in the fridge and then pull them out and let them finish on the counter, that's fine. But otherwise, you can bag these up in an airtight container or Ziploc or Tupperware or something, and they'll stay for quite a while. And they're really good and really hot. So all you chili heads, give it a try. It's pretty easy. No way to really screw it up. And let me know how you do. Catch you later.